remember being in a staff meeting with David Allen where he was talking about how lists can attract or repel you, and there's nothing in between. And not only did that apply to your lists, like your projects list or your next actions list or agendas or waiting for us, but it also applies to the tool that you're using. And I remember being kind of struck by that because my lists attracted me, but my tool didn't. And I was like, no wonder why sometimes I have a little bit of resistance to capture, clarify, because I'm organizing into a list management system that doesn't really fully attract me. So I then was still using what I had, but I also was on the lookout for something that might be a better fit for me. And in 2009, I was introduced to OmniFocus by Carrie Gallivan, who's one of our GTD coaches. And immediately, it was like really immediately, it was very visceral. I was like, that's it. That's the list manager tool for me. Why? I don't know. It was just because it was visually appealing right off the bat. The one that I had been using was just not visually appealing. I just liked the way that OmniFocus visually looked, not only on my desktop, but on my phone. I liked that I could link my actions and project plans to a project, but I also could see my next actions in isolation. So I could see my calls or my errands or agendas or waiting fors by itself, but I also could see it linked to my projects, which wasn't necessary because I had been for a decade not being able to link it. But the ability to be able to link it for me was very appealing. I liked that it integrated with emails, but again, that wasn't really necessary because for a decade, I wasn't able to link my emails to my list management system, and that was okay. But it was very visceral. It was kind of like, I really like that. I think that's going to be a really good fit for me. And I have been using it ever since. I haven't seen anything out there that appeals to me enough to be able to switch. What's really fascinating is what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for the other person. I think that many clients like to know what GTD coaches are using. And I say, does it really matter? Because that may not work for you. I can't tell you how many times I share my OmniFocus and they're like, nope, don't think that's going to work for me. And then I show them something else like Todoist and they're like, oh, love that. Why? I really don't know, you guys. I really don't. And then there are other people that look at OmniFocus and they say, oh my gosh, I love that. I think I want to give that a try. I still find, though, that I have to do a lot of validation for people to use a paper-based planner or go back to using a paper-based planner because they still think that a digital list management system is somehow better, and it's not. So there's that group of people. And then there's a group of people that like a hybrid. They like a combination of some things electronically tracked and some things on paper tracked because it's just faster. So I just encourage everybody to either just validate what you're already using and not think that there's just something better out there or what are the GTD coaches using and maybe that's better. We all use something different at GTD Focus. We have, Carrie and I use OmniFocus. Julie uses a paper-based planner. Lisa uses Things. Christina uses Todoist and so forth. It really varies for each person, which is, again, why I love GTD, is that you don't have to use one digital or paper list management system or set it up the same way. Just like if you walk into anybody's kitchen or their home, there's all variations on it. I mean, yes, there's commonalities to it, but there's variations on it about how people customize it. And that is what so attracted me to GTD. As I've said before, there are no rules or just best practices. But I do invite you to just take a moment to see if your list management system attracts or repels you. And if it repels you, why? And really maybe list out all the reasons why it repels you and maybe see if there's something else that might be a better fit for you. And if it attracts you, well, then good on you. It's going to make it so much more inviting to capture, clarify, and organize into a list management system that attracts you so that you can review and do and really have that clear mind and here have that clear space and mind like water that we're all working for or towards.